intricate paper cutting. I also appreciate the fact that her work is so accessible. Her work is the kind of art that anybody, no matter what age or background, they can all appreciate it and enjoy it. This piece, Umbra, emanates an energy that is unbelievable when you see it in action, which you all are about to. And we're just so excited to have Meredith's work on display here. We have a brief performance and artist talk prepared for you tonight, but before we start, I'd like to offer a very special thanks to our featured sponsor this evening, the Macintosh Law Firm in Davidson. And now I'd like to introduce Bill Ellison, who'd like to say a few words, and then we'll begin our performance.
Good evening. I'm Bill Ellison. I'm from the Macintosh Law Firm, for 11 attorneys located in Davidson, right by the Brick House Restaurant. We do a variety of different things. As you can see up front, we've got a list of what we do. So if you need us, please come see us. We are honored to sponsor this event. It really is a good event. Thank you, Mayor. And we want to be a firm that we are a firm that's committed to our clients, committed to the community. Thank you.
Thank you.
great crowd. You guys can come in a little bit. This thing is very approachable. Come on into the gallery. It's fun to Make it move. Yeah, come here. My name is Meredith Connelly. So my name is Meredith Connelly. I'll first of all give you a little background about myself. I relocated here 2 years ago from Wilmington, North Carolina. I was part of Acme Art Studios, which was a warehouse in Wilmington with 23 working artists. I have since relocated to Cornelius and live with my fiance that I'm marrying next week. Here, so it means so much to me to be here and exhibiting at the Cornelius Art Center because it is such a wonderful community and I'm so thankful to be a part of it. I started out, really, I can't even remember the first time I really got into making art and sculpture. I do know a very important time was when I was about 16. I started doing metal work and I created a fountain, and that was really a transition for me as an artist where I said, this is really something that I need in my life and I will do it every day or almost every day. And it kind of snowballed, and I'll just give you a little background. By age 17, I had left the United States and I lived in Paris for about a year on my own. I like to call it kind of an art pilgrimage, for lack of a better description. It was a really formative time where I was in museums almost every day, sketching, just absorbing the masterworks, and really kind of starting to find my voice as a creator myself. Fast forward to college years, I started majoring in studio art and began working with translucent materials, and I initially started designing around existing lights in the space, so something, for instance, like this bulb, I would design around that, and it started to become a little bit limiting for me. So I then transitioned to using my own lighting and wiring it so that I could achieve the forms that I wanted to achieve. Something that really inspires me is the way that energy fuses through the work. It is a kinetic piece, though it's not moving the way most kinetic work does. Even when the lights are always on, there's energy surging through it. I think we connect with that as humans. It's very organic, and I just think of it as something that it's just warm, and I hope it's inviting and that you want to touch it. Please feel free to do so. I'm not one of those people that says, oh no, don't touch the work. You can just squeeze it. It'll be fine. Clap at it. That's important. But UMBRA this is phase 1 of UMBRA. UMBRA is actually a conceptual project that will travel to a different series of venues. So it actually, to me, is about a life cycle of a piece of artwork. This is kind of its conception or birth. It will be at UNC Charlotte in September, and it will then change into a phase 2 form. And as it goes through the spaces, the form will change, and you'll actually be able to start seeing the internal structure a bit more of the lighting. And that just kind of also highlights the different layers that the work has. So underneath, there's no armature. It is just lighting. That is what holds it together. It's almost like the skeletal structure of the work. So that is just in a nutshell what UMBRA is. And I will then start to talk about my cut paper pieces, which also I think have a nice conversation with the sculpture. You can see that they're similar forms, and actually someone here pointed out, which is funny how when other people are watching you work, you kind of learn things about your own work. The underneath part of this structure is very similar to these kind of organic forms that you see here, and that kind of translates into my work. All of these images here are inspired by microscopic photographs, and I got my first microscope from my mom when I was about 10 years old. I guess, we're from a family of very scientific people, but then she also had a kiln on the back porch, so I was a pretty lucky girl. But I remember just being extremely fascinated with light transmitting through those plant cells or images or things that I would experience even at that young age. Again, in college, in a biology class, I should have known I was going to be an art major because my favorite part of the class was actually looking at the plant cells in a microscope and then drawing them, and not really maybe doing the other stuff. So that's kind of where this started, and I've been compiling images that inspire me for some time, and each of these are just painted, cut brown paper, and then I just cut them out intricately with an X-Acto blade. So there's also something just really interesting to me about the delicate nature of even the process of this work, because I mean it's paper and it rips, and it's just so similar to just how delicate life is in general and the biology behind the pieces. Then over here, I'm sorry, I've got these little pieces here that are, they're actually, what do you think this is made out of? You seem pretty interactive. I like hanging out with you. What do you think that is? You know? Glass. That was a really good guess. It's actually, these are actually old CD cases that were melted with a heat gun. So that's something else that I really like to do in my work, is to redefine or recreate material texturally. So this here will be wax paper, and we use it in the kitchen. It's typically touched and thrown away. I don't think people really examine it and look at it in an aesthetic way at all. I mean, a lot of times you're wrapping a sandwich with it, or who knows what else. People aren't really even using it that much anymore, because we have a lot of other interesting things. Or there's little small petri dishes there that are painted, and those are actually made of coffee filters. Again, those kind of functional, utilitarian papers that people really just discard. And that's why I also like the CD cases. CDs are kind of dying in general. But I thought that I'd give it a new little life over here in my little pod. But other than that, I'm just so thankful to share this with you all. It's very special to create art, but it's also wonderful for people to be part of the process. Just working and installing here over the last few days was just so special to me. Cornelius Art Center has great classes, and I was so amazed to just have children walking by and asking me questions. And it was one little boy's birthday, and I was testing the sound, and there they are singing him happy birthday and like playing in front of the sculpture, and that just meant so much to me. But also to expose the community to site-based work. It is something that I think is so important for especially children to learn. There's more than paintings on a wall. Not that paintings are not wonderful, I think they are, but there's more to art than that. So with that, thank you so much. I'm so thankful for y'all.
To give Meredith a very special thanks. It was such a pleasure working with her in the gallery. We had some challenges throughout the week, but the show looks gorgeous. Congratulations.
Thank you, and they're so beautiful.
And thank you so much for showing at the Art Center. I'd also like to thank the Art Center staff, Nicole, Jake, Anna, and Danielle. I couldn't do anything without you guys. Give them a hand. I'd like to also thank the Cornelius Park Department, especially Troy, John, and Brad for all their support for this project. Thank you so much for all your help. And thanks again to all of you for coming out and supporting this event. We really appreciate your support of the Cornelius Art Center. And on your way out, please be sure to pick up information about our independent films, our summer camps, and our art classes. And I hope you all enjoyed the show and that you have a wonderful evening, but I think Meredith has something else to add.
I do.
Hold on one second.
I have butterflies sometimes, and I almost forgot one of the most, come here please, one of the most important and amazing parts of this entire project for me was working with Kelly Hutchinson, who is the founder of Mosaic Arts. And she is a phenomenal opera singer, as you all witnessed, but she's also just a dream to collaborate with. And she will also be following the sculptures along through the spaces. And she has some wonderful concepts behind the music and how it will change and get more angular with the work as well. So we have just had a great time, and I am so grateful. You are such a talent. And I feel like maybe I'll make you a cut paper piece based off of it. Okay. Thank you all very much.